Hello, Joy Horner here. I'm going to read you the foreword to this wonderful book, Birth Matters by Ina May Gaskin. It's written by Annie DeFranco and it was written in September 2010. I hope you enjoy it. My parents' marriage exploded when I was very young, and like the survivor of a sunken ship, I found myself drifting off into the adult world as a teenager. At 16, I had several jobs, my own apartment, and some strong survival skills that hinged on a sense of personal invincibility. Having sowed confidence and capableness into my identity, I pursued my life as an emancipated minor without fear. I was rewarded with a wonderful career in music, a grand adventure that led me from stage to stage around the globe and further emboldened my independent self-image. At the age of 36, when I was pregnant and looking forward to giving birth, there was a voice inside of me that said childbirth would be easy for me, that I would get through it as I'd gotten through everything in life without pause. I chose to give birth in my home with a very low-key midwife, adverse as I was to the fear-mongering that I believe leads many women into hospitals and into the hands of controlling doctors. I stand behind my choice and believe I was right about all of it except for one thing. Childbirth wouldn't be easy for me. It would be dark and at times a fearful journey that led me to unforeseen places, including a crisis of identity. Late one night, 3 weeks before my due date, my water broke, and I stayed up till dawn, scribbling excitedly in my journal, while my partner slept soundly upstairs. In the morning, I went to the hospital to confirm that this weird discharge was indeed amniotic fluid, and was strongly advised to check myself in and submit to chemical induction because of the risk of infection. Believing more in the wisdom of Mother Nature than the wisdom of doctors, I went home. Over the next several days, my labour ebbed and flowed, but in the middle of the third sleepless night, I realised I was headed towards a brick wall of exhaustion and began instinctively marching up and down stairs to propel my non-linear labour forward. This worked, and I progressed to the pushing stage. But being so weak with sleep deprivation, I pushed for 5 hours unsuccessfully. My contractions flared dimmer and dimmer, and somewhere in the background I heard my midwife say, "I think we may need to go to the hospital." I was given a cup of tea with lots of honey and some much needed advice. Try to stop pushing and rest through as many contractions as you can and see if the sugar helps revive you. I lay there in a dark sea of crisis and delirium until, clear as day, I felt that sugar enter my bloodstream. I waited until I felt the full power of that cup of tea, and then with the words, "We may need to go to the hospital," still ringing in my ears, I summoned my lover and my midwives back into my sphere. "Okay now," I said, and I pushed until, by goddess, my daughter's head came out. If I had to do it again, I would invite more of an atmosphere of accompaniment and camaraderie around me. I would call upon confident women to put their arms around me and rock me and clap hands and growl and make me laugh down the fear. Though it was the most painful thing I've ever experienced, I do not regret giving birth naturally. One of the downfalls of our excessively comfortable society is the idea that pain is a bad thing and to be avoided at all costs. We've built great pharmaceutical empires bent on masking, subduing, and eradicating pain, even emotional pain, from our lives. We are taught to view pain as an enemy, not a teacher. But pain is the right hand of growth and transformation. Pain is in the history of all human wisdom. Pain associated with menstruation and childbirth, even the emotional pain, are the price of having agency with the bloody, pulsing, volcanic divinity of creation, and they lie at the core of feminine wisdom. The literal experience of my body is your body, your blood is my blood, holds great insights into the way of things. A self-possessed woman in childbirth can be a powerful teacher for all, including herself, on the temporality, humility, and connectedness of life. What if the medical establishment that purports to be saving women from the spectre of pain and danger is instead ejecting them from the seat of their power? I have many friends now who've given birth, most of them in hospitals, with a myriad of interventions, and a truly shocking number of them by caesarean section. Young, healthy and strong women. It confuses me that I, an educated, privileged woman in 21st century America, am surrounded by women who think they need saving. And because they're denied the opportunity to know otherwise, they may believe it forevermore. They look at me with wide eyes and they say, "I couldn't have done what you did." And my heart breaks as I think quietly, yes, you could have. In fact, I bet you could have done better. How could all these otherwise empowered young women go so unquestioningly into the role of damsel in distress when it comes to having their children? How were they convinced that they couldn't do it? Wise words indeed. And do look up Ina May Gaskin and look up the statistics of her birthing practice on the farm in Nashville, Tennessee. I'll just give you a few. So from 1970 until 2010, there were 94.7% home births, 1.7% caesarean rate. And this included breeches, twins, vaginal birth after caesarean. Their vacuum extraction rate was 0.04%. Their forceps rate was 0.37%. I think the numbers speak for themselves. Do look up Ina May Gaskin's brilliant book called Spiritual Midwifery. I'll love you and leave you. You can do this.